you remember what this was about?
Was it he parked in his car parking space or something like that before the game?
I think there was an ongoing feud anyway, I think, between the two, but I think it's kicked off in the match because Bowyer didn't pass it to Dyer or vice versa. So, like true professionals, they decided to fight. He didn't pass me the ball.
Here we go. Welcome to another Eat My Goal with me, Mike, and him, Dan. No, I've got it down now. Got it down. It's only taken 9 episodes for me to be able to point in the right direction. How are you, Dan? Are you well this evening?
Yes, very well. Thank you. You? I thought you were looking away then.
I did look away briefly. Looked back to see you. I think you were roasting. You had some roasted coffee beans in your hand, didn't you? In an 80s advert style. Yes. For those listening on Spotify, just so you can visualize. So this is Eat My Goal podcast. It is a weekly podcast where we talk about the Premier League. We talk about Portsmouth FC down in League One. We don't really talk about the League One style, though. We talk mostly about Portsmouth when they're in their heyday in the Premier League. We also have some quizzes. We've got another exciting quiz. Dan leads. Is it 3-2 or 2-1? I forget. Lead.
3-2.
3-2, isn't it? 3-2. It is 3-2, yeah. So Dan currently leading 3-2, which you'll be pleased about. If he ever gets to a situation where he's not leading, you will see a different Dan Till from the one you currently see. Where he's destroyed his
Dan's not
laptop.
joining us today. Yeah.
His laptop is in the garden in 2 pieces.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll have another quiz, but let's start with some Premier League headlines. And a lot has happened this week. Lots to talk about. So firstly, Newcastle have slipped into the top 4 by continuing their winning ways away at Spurs. Cristiano Ronaldo refused to play for Manchester United, refused to come on as a late sub for Man United and left the building before the game finished. Who was that against? That was against Spurs, wasn't it, last week? Liverpool, well, we thought they were back to winning ways. No, they weren't. Nottingham Forest were victors at the where they play City Ground at the weekend against Liverpool. A couple more. Fulham seem to be continuing their good form. Another away win for them, and where are they? 7th, is it in the table? 8th,
yeah,
7th. Doing very, very well. I expected them to have slipped by now, but they haven't. And finally, Stevie G is Stevie gone. Aston Villa, he's out the door. He's out the door. Dan's devastated there. Absolutely gutted. He's a fan of the show. He's a fan of the show. He's a friend of the show. Let's start with Stevie G, shall we? Surprised at that?
No, never surprised by no sacking these days. But how many games? I forgot to do my stats actually. How many games in charge? Any idea?
Well, I know it was almost a year to the day, wasn't it? That give or take. Because I heard a lot of talk about Dean Smith was only a point worse off this time last year. So so I think it was around about a year to the day there. It might have been just under a year, but even so. Not really surprising, was it? It started off okay,
yeah. Everyone thought the signing of Coutinho would be the signing of the century, but that turned out to not be the case.
When you get £120 million man for what did they pay, like 10 million for him, you know there's obviously a bit of an issue there. I would say quality wise, obviously an excellent player, but seems to be more to it. But I actually watched a little bit of their game against, who was it they lost 3-0 to the other day? I can't think now, but and with the Villa fans kind of chanting him out, get out of our club or whatever it wasn't a massive surprise that a few hours later he was fired. Don't want to laugh at somebody getting fired, but and then for them to go on and win the next game so comprehensively, 4-0 against Brentford, I think pretty much says that there was an issue there, wasn't there? A bit of a personality issue, possibly.
So
who
did they lose Yeah, I can't remember. I can't
It was
seem
another
to.
lowly side, wasn't it? I can't think who it was. It's not as if we're doing a Premier League
Bournemouth?
podcast or anything, is it?
Yeah, no. Why can't I not? Why can I not think who
Was
it
it
was that
Fulham?
beat them
It was
3?
Fulham, wasn't it? I think it was Fulham. I'm pretty sure
Was
it was Fulham. It was Fulham. Yeah,
it?
it was.
Fulham were at Leeds, weren't they?
That was this weekend. Then last weekend.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh,
It was
right.
last Monday, possibly. I think it was last Monday night that they
Oh, okay.
played.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah.
Or even
Yeah.
no, it wasn't. Tell a lie. It was in the weeks. There was midweek games, wasn't there, this week?
Midweek,
We know
yeah.
so much about this game of football.
Good podcast, isn't it? All it takes is 5 minutes research. That's all you've got to do.
Yeah, on our opening lines.
Fucking hell. What a pair of twats. Use that as a
So anyway,
soundboard.
Stevie G is gone. Stevie G is gone. What do you think? Do you
Who?
think that's him? Stevie G? Stevie who? Do you think he'll get another top job, or do you think he'll be going the way of
He'll
Gary
do the
Neville
rounds,
and
won't he?
Roy Keane,
No, he'll do the
etc.?
rounds. He'll do your West Broms, your Birminghams,
Do you think?
your your Sheffield Uniteds, your Wolves, your
Do you think so?
Middlesbrough, those
I
sort of.
don't know.
Yeah,
I have a
of
feeling that
course
he
he
might
will.
think he's a bit too big for those sort of clubs.
Yeah.
He's a bit big
Well,
time, isn't he?
yeah,
Old.
that's I think that's probably one of the reasons why I don't particularly like him. He's always got that. He's got a bit too much of an arrogance about him that irritates me. Yeah. Of course.
He doesn't seem to have much of a sense of humour, does he?
No, not in the slightest.
Or
But yeah, no,
personality.
I think he'll do those. Yeah, I think he'll do those sort of, high, mid to high championship teams and lower Premiership teams.
He'll be a bit
Like
of a
Steve
yo-yo.
Bruce.
Yeah, like Steve.
Huh?
He'll be a new Steve Bruce, or maybe even a Mark Hughes type manager. Get the occasional big job, and then just kind of until somebody better comes along. Certainly not on the career path to the Liverpool job now, I wouldn't say. I think that's
Well, I
dented
thought that
that,
was a
isn't it?
shoe-in. I
Yeah.
thought that was a shoe-in. Yeah.
Yeah, not so much. So let's have a look at the other headlines. So Liverpool lost to Forest. Did you see that game?
Yeah, I saw bits of it.
Did you see the interesting Van Dijk efforts?
Oh, that header.
Yeah,
What was he? Was he trying to pull that back for Firmino, or was he actually trying to head it towards goal? I don't know.
If he was heading towards goal, that's got to be one of the worst headers by
Ever.
a professional Premier League standard. Well, an alleged world class player. Ever. Yeah, ever. I'd go as far to say ever. Yeah. But that was a real shame because they did knock on the door. They had a lot of chances, Liverpool. And I tell you what, I'd like to get your opinion on, Dan. The Newcastle Spurs game. Did you see Newcastle's opener?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I've only seen it briefly.
Okay.
So I haven't seen all replays. So I need you to tell me whether it was a foul or not.
Well, I don't know. They seemed in the Match of the Day studio. They seemed very adamant that it wasn't. I don't know.
This is the Match of the Day studio where Shearer normally sits.
Yeah, it wasn't Shearer though. To be fair. No, tell lie. It might have been Match of the Day 2 I was watching, and maybe it was Shearer, but it was Shearer actually because he was on Match of the Day 2 because he was commentating about Newcastle, wasn't he? He was giving his opinion on Newcastle. He said it definitely wasn't. I can kind of see what they're saying. It was foolish of Luis to kind of chest it down rather than just wallop it. But for me, I just thought that he kind of put his arm out a little bit. I thought Wilson seemed to put his arm out a little bit and kind of, fair enough, momentum. You could say momentum. But more controversially, what about, did you see the West Ham goal last night, the first one?
Yeah, the one that was handball.
Yeah, the one that he volleyed back up in the air.
Yeah. What are we doing with VAR at the minute then? Are we is that still a thing?
I was going to ask you because obviously you run a team and so you're probably up to date more than I am on the rules. And they were saying because it didn't directly lead to the goal. Yes, I think it did. I pretty much think pretty much as much as the foul by Haaland on Fabinho pretty much led to the goal. It was as much as that did. He was in the penalty, he was 6 yards out, and he volleyed it back up with both hands.
So yeah, but wasn't it what last season when it first came in? It was if it touched your hand, deliberate or not, and led to a goal.
Yes.
Then it was chalked off.
Yeah.
But then did they not change that to whether it was a deliberate act this season?
Yeah, and they're saying about the silhouette of your body, but either way, that's ridiculous, isn't it?
That's it. We've been working on that in training, actually. Silhouettes of the bodies.
Yeah. How's it going?
Making sure we got our silhouettes right.
But yeah, I thought Bournemouth were a little bit hard done by there, but hey ho, they've been on a good run under Gary O'Neill until the Southampton game, haven't they?
Well, all the teams that have come up have, I mean, not so much Forest, but they did have a good win at the weekend. But Bournemouth and Fulham doing all right, aren't they?
They are doing all right. I think there's still plenty of time for them to drop, but they're doing all right at the moment. They're doing all right at the moment. Let's go from one significant Premier League moment this weekend to do you have a significant Premier League moment for us in your locker, Dan?
I have, yes. What did I have last week? Oh, I had the Pompey 7, Reading 4 last week, didn't I?
Pompey 7, yeah, the highest scoring Premier League game you did, yes. Yeah.
So this week's exciting, memorable Premier League moment, which is going to be the background of my video, is
the boys are out having a fight downtown.
Yeah. So, what year was this?
Oh, okay, right, here we go. So, Gareth Barry's still at Villa. I remember Barry playing for Villa when we first came up in 2003. So I'm going to say this is probably quite soon after that. I'm going to go 2004.
Oh, you were doing so well. 2005. No, don't worry.
Oh, okay.
And go on then, name all. I reckon you can name all 5 players there.
Name all 5, yeah. So you got Nicky Butt there looking on. It looks as if he's looking at something completely different. Stephen Carr, Kieran Dyer. Lee Bowyer.
Oh yeah.
And Gareth Barry, the aforementioned Barry. Yes.
And do you remember what this was about? Oh, excuse me. Do you remember what this was about?
Was it he parked in his car parking space or something like that before the game?
I think there was an ongoing feud anyway. I think between the two, but I think it's kicked off in the match because Bowyer didn't pass it to Dyer or vice versa. So, like true professionals, they decided to fight. He didn't pass me the ball. Yeah.
Lee, I was open.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
What? You what? Just gone.
And it was whilst the game was going as well, wasn't it? There wasn't a stoppage.
Still carried on, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what the final score was? Surprisingly, they both got sent off.
Yeah, both sent off. This was kind of early second half, I think, if I remember rightly, wasn't it? I don't know. Was it earlier than that? Was it? I'm going to go that. I'm going to say that. I think you're trying to double bluff me here, so I'm going to say Villa won 2-0.
Oh, 3-0.
Oh, okay.
3-0. Yeah. And do you know who scored?
Gareth Barry hat trick.
Dean Saunders hat trick.
Oh, Dean did really?
No, nice. I made that bit up.
Dwight York hat trick.
Yeah, Nigel Spink. Nigel Spink got one. That chap that used to play on the wing with a bald head, left back. He was the left back for Villa. Do you remember him?
God. I know what you mean. Yeah, I can't think of his name.
And,
did Peter Wiff get one? Did Peter Wiff get one?
Peter Wiff. Yeah, Peter Wiff got one. Yeah.
Peter Wiff got the third.
I remember him scoring at Fratton Park.
Peter Wiff.
Back in the day. Peter Wiff. Who with?
Who was he with? Was he with Villa?
With. I can't remember who Wiff was with. Wiff was with. Anyway. Moving on. Okay, nice. I remember that very, very well.
Very, very, very well. Okay. Also, things I remember very well are the best Portsmouth Premier League goals. We have 10 to choose from. What we're going to do is we're going to whittle those down to a top 5 between the pair of us. And we're going to put a little poll out on Twitter for our now 30 followers to see.
30?
And yes, and hopefully someone might vote. I put a little poll out the other day and 3 people voted. 2 of them were our mates. So
Yep.
I don't know who the third one was. It doesn't tell you who it was.
Yeah.
But still, we're going to whittle them down to 5. So do you want to quickly go through and tell us what the 10 are, Dan? The top 10.
Right. So the 10 goals you've got. Are we showing? Are you linking the video along to this?
Yeah, we'll put a link to the video on the various channels. We'll put it on there.
So the first 2 are both for Sully Montari in the same game, which was December 2007 away to Villa.
Okay. Yeah.
Pompey Winfrey, and his first one was edge of the box, shifting it onto his left foot, curling it into the top left-hand corner.
Yes.
Do you remember that one?
I do now. I've now seen it since, and I didn't remember it when you last mentioned.
It's the second. No, the second one I was talking about before that you couldn't remember, which is
the second one. No, the second one I do remember. The second one is the one where he puts it through his legs and then hits it from distance. I always remember that one.
No, you said the opposite the other week. You said the opposite. You said you remember the one that was in the top corner.
No.
Yeah, that's what you said. Anyway, watch your podcast back. Somebody's got it. The second one was where he one that I think the second one I like because it sums up Montari. He strengths someone off the ball, bashes them off the ball, wins the ball, then does a little nutmeg, and then outside of the left boot from about 25 yards, curls it into the bottom right-hand corner.
Lovely. Yes, I like that one.
And then you've got number 3 is Luar at home to Villa again.
Yep.
Which was shifting it onto his right foot out on the outside of the left-hand side of the 18-yard box, curling it into the top right-hand corner.
Yes. Yeah.
Then you've got Alessandro D'Alessandro. Alessandro D'Alessandro.
Do you hear the John Fernando?
Is that his first name, Alessandro?
Alessandro D'Alessandro.
It's not right, is it?
No, I don't think
D'Alessandro,
so.
Is it?
We'll call him D'Alessandro. We'll call him Dally.
Alessandro D'Alessandro away to Charlton in 2006. A little bit of skill out on the right-hand side.
Yep.
Cut inside, curl it into the top left-hand corner.
Yeah, it's a lovely one.
Then you've got Pamero, 2007 away to Newcastle. I've written down here, twat with his left foot.
Yeah, okay.
Right corner.
It's a bit harsh for him calling him a twat with a left foot, but you know.
Then you got Mendes, 2006 against Man City, where the ball dropped him from a corner, wins the ball, and then wallops it into the top left-hand corner. Then you've got Matt Taylor, first of 2 on the list, which is the Sunderland away in 2005, where he boshes it from 40 yards.
Yeah.
That drops to him. And then you've got Glenn Johnson at home to Hull, 2008, about 25 yards out. Same again, corner cleared, chests it, and then left foot volleys it into the top left-hand corner.
Yep.
And then you've got Matt Taylor again, which is 2006 at home to Everton, which is where the ball pops up just on the centre circle, and he left foot volleys it over the top of Neville Southall.
No, I think it's Tim Howard, isn't it? He's like, meow,
meow. Tim Howard. And then the last one is Berger away to Charlton, which is the one where he chips up and volleys it, bit like Henry's for Arsenal.
Yeah, kind of similar.
I find that one surprising when you watch that one, because it's Unsworth that takes the free kick, and every time I watch it, I think, why is he playing that ball? Because Berger's literally got a man right on him. So I can only assume it's something they worked on, but I don't know, because it just seems like a very strange free kick.
Do you know what I think about that goal? I think. Do you remember the Rooney goal against Newcastle where he scored with it's kind of like on the volley from about 25, 30 yards, but then you wind it back a little bit. He has a little argument with the referee, and he's all pissed off, and he walks away from the referee and just wallops it basically. And I think part of that goal is down to him walloping it. I get the same sort of feeling about the Patrick Berger one, as if something's happened. I don't remember watching the game itself, but as if something's happened just beforehand, and he's just gone sod this because obviously we lost the game 2-1, didn't we? So I can't remember if we were 2-0 down at the time, and it's just rolled it into him, and he's just gone sod it. I'm just gonna. Maybe he's kind of hit it, and I just wonder whether something's happened beforehand where he's just thought sod it. I'm just gonna wallop this, and didn't mean it to kind of do what it did, but then went because he does that little wry smile, doesn't he, going away and say,
well, I can tell you, we weren't 2-0 down, but yes, we did lose the game 2-1.
Okay.
No, in fact, the only 2 out of those 10 games that we lost were both the away games. We lost both of them 2-1. I think Alessandro D'Alessandro's one. He put us 1-0 up that game. And another semi-interesting fact, out of those 10 goals, only 2 of them were right-footed. All the rest were left-footed.
Mental. So Lua's and who's the other one? Oh,
Mendes.
Pedro? Yeah.
Mendes. Yeah.
Nice. So let's whittle those down to 5. So who would be your 5?
So are we going to say the ones? Well, so my 5 would be my Montari's second is my favourite out of the lot anyway.
Yeah,
so
I'll have that. I'll have that in there.
I mean, I love a twat. I love a Bosch goal like Pamaro's, but everything about Montari's I just think is quality and class.
Yeah.
So we're going to stick Montari and then well, why don't we go through? So I don't think Montari's first deserves to be top 5.
No.
Loa will be in that one.
Yep, bin it.
I like I think the Taylor volley against Everton should be in there.
Do you think?
Because I just think because it's so far out. And
do you prefer that to the other Taylor goal?
Well, the Sunderland one, they're quite similar, aren't they? But this one, he actually hits on the volley, whereas the other one bounces first.
Yeah, that's a good point. It is a good point. Okay, so yeah, I'm happy to go with that.
But I mean, we might say both of them. I think Mendes, no. I think it was an important goal.
Yeah. See, I've got Mendes down, and for that reason. Why? Because it was an important goal, and it came at a time.
I don't give a fuck about important goals. But it
was a good goal. It was a good goal, and it was also an important goal at the same time.
Good. This isn't a list of good goals. It's a list of good goals.
All right. Okay. Okay. Right. I'll put a question mark next time.
Yeah. Go on. No, just cross it out. Johnson.
I'm saying yes for Johnson.
Yeah. I think
two reasons. One, it's the chest. Secondly, it's his left foot for a right-footed player, and he's a defender, not known for his goal-scoring feats. You could just say he's just kind of whacked and hope for the best, but you could say about any goal, really, couldn't you? So I would say Johnson. Personally, I'd throw Johnson's hat in the ring.
Okay, let's get rid of Montari's first. Then we're taking Lua's out. D'Alessandro's.
Yeah, I like that. I like D'Alessandro's.
No,
okay.
I like Pamaro's bullet.
Okay, well, Burger's definitely in, isn't it?
Yeah, we're sticking Burgers in, are we?
Yeah. So we're going with Pamaro, are we?
We've got Burger. Are we doing both Taylors?
Nah, one or the other.
Well, we have to pick one, do we? All right. Are we going with the volley then?
Go with the Everton one.
Okay, so we've got Burger, Taylor, Johnson, Montari, and then we've got one other. So we've got D'Alessandro or Pamaro. So I will let you choose. But it's not D'Alessandro, but I'll let you choose.
Go on then, we'll go Pamaro. I've already written down Pamaro, so let's do that.
No, go on. Honestly, I don't mind. You can.
That's fine. That's fine. Okay. Berger, Johnson, Montari, Taylor, Pomeroy. Good.
Yep.
So we will put those out on a little poll, and we'll tell you who the winner is next week.
You could even ask people to tell us which one of the 5 that we didn't choose should have been, if they want to.
If they want to say anything, they can do, and they can do that by getting in touch at eatmygoal22@gmail.com, or via Twitter at eatmygoal22, or follow us on Facebook and comment on Facebook if you so wish. That is eatmygoal22 on Facebook. beautifully mimicked there. Very good. All right, we'll see who the winner is next week. Speaking of winners, you're currently leading the quiz. With this week, we have a quiz which is Dan's favourites. Also nicknamed the James Vaughan quiz, but it's known as Who Am I? We have 5 clues to a footballing celebrity, past or present. And you get 5 points for the first clue, 4 for the second, 3 for the third, 2 for the 12, and 1 for the 5th. Whoever gets the most points wins and claims victory for the week. Who's going first this week, Dan?
It's me to do you, isn't it? Me to read to you, I think.
Okay. Yeah, go for it.
I don't know what, some sort of noise.
Is it going to be rock
I've gone relatively easy. No, I've gone relatively easy. I did pick one first, and I started writing down stuff, and then I thought, well, I don't think Mike is going to get Steve Guppy, so I've changed it. I've changed it to someone else.
It probably would have been unlikely, unless first clue was my surname rhymes with puppy, but I doubt it would have been. Okay.
Right. Okay. So for 5 points. So I was born on the 7th of March, 1973. And that's it.
Shut up.
No, I'm not giving any more than that.
7th of March, 1973. So you're giving us
a gentleman, isn't it? Can't give you any more than that's it. 40, that's what you get. If you get that for 5 points, then you've earned your 5 points, haven't you?
A 48/49-year-old ex-footballer. Don't even know whether he's a position. Give us a position at least. Come on.
You'll get the position. You'll get the position. Maybe on the next one. Maybe on the third.
Okay, so 49. Let me think. He's around that sort of era. So 49. Okay, I'm going to go with. Is it Tim Sherwood?
You saw what we started putting. Oh, fuck off.
What? Are you serious?
No. Right. Okay, it's not Tim Sherwood. Right. For 4 points.
Okay.
His playing career consisted of stints at 3 clubs: Arsenal, Middlesbrough, and Hull. That's it.
Oh, okay. Arsenal, Middlesbrough, and Hull. The Hull one is throwing me off. In that order? Was it in that order?
Yeah. If you like. Yes, it was that order.
Arsenal, Middlesbrough. I think he's older than that, though. I think he's older. Ray Parlour.
Oh, fuck off with your shitty Ray Parlour prick. That's correct for 4 points.
Is it really?
Is it really? Right, so for 3 points.
Is it really Ray Parlour?
Yes, it's fucking Ray Parlour. For 3 points, it would have been played in midfield for England under 21s and England B before playing 10 games for the full England squad in 1999 to 2000, scoring 0 goals. And then for 2 points, it would have been, along with Freddie Ljungberg, scored in the 2-0 victory for Arsenal versus Chelsea in the 2002 FA Cup final. And then for 1 point, it would have been his nicknames include the Romford Pele and Pizza, as in pizza parlour.
Yeah, not Poodle. I thought he also goes by Poodle.
Well done.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Well, you never know.
No,
you never know.
Don't be stitching me up.
Well, I'm now thinking maybe I take the place of Birth out, but you know.
You never know. You might get Mickey Gin.
It's not even that easy. Okay, for 5 points.
Yep.
I'm a former striker, born 30th of November, 1955. Ah, yeah, beauty.
55?
1955.
55,
yes.
So we're talking 45, 69 years old. 69? No, that's not right.
60, 67. Nearly 67. 66 currently, 67 in next month.
That's it, is it?
That's it. Yeah. That's
What's
what you
the place
get.
of birth?
I'm not telling you now. I was going to, but I'm not going to now.
Okay. All right. Yeah, but I know that your second one will be shit, won't it? It'll be he wore a football shirt.
No. With a number on the back.
You can see it's already getting angry, isn't it? Already angry. Right, 69 years old. 69. So we're talking
66.
So
66 years old.
Sorry, 66. Yeah, I've written down 69. 66. So if he was born in 55, then he would have been 30 in 1985. That doesn't help. 30 in 1985. So we're talking 20 in 1975. 20 and then 25 in 1980. 25 in 1980. Let's go someone like, oh no. Let's go for, I don't think it is. I think he would have been older than 25 in 1980. In fact, he definitely would have been older. So I'm not going to pick him. No, okay. I'm going to go with, it's a choice of two. I'm going to go with Trevor Brooking. But I think he would have been older in 1980.
It's incorrect. I think this next one, you may well get it. I started my career with Dundee United before moving to Aston Villa in 1975. And there's more to this. In 1977, I was the First Division's joint top scorer, which helped me earn the PFA Young Player of the Year and the PFA Player of the Year.
In 1977?
In 77. Moved to Villa in 75. Top scorer in 77.
Do you know what? If it's this person that I've written down along with my Trevor Brooking, I'm going to be effing livid because I wrote it down, and that's Andy Gray.
Oh, Andy Gray. Andy Gray. Well, let me go with the 3 points and see if you still think it's Andy Gray. I also played for Wolves and Everton and West Bromwich Albion.
I had it written down, mate.
Before returning to Scotland with Rangers. I also played 24 times for the Scottish national team. I was famous for my gorgeous wavy ginger hair.
Oh, man.
Right? You love the question. You love the 2 pointer. The 2 pointer is, he was once quoted as saying, I have 3 daughters for F's sake, and I'm supposed to be sexist. Come on. And I was brought up by a woman on her own. Brilliant. For 1 point, he was fired from Sky Sports along with his Bezzy Richard Keys for making sexist remarks about a female official. It is Andrew McGregor Gray. I don't know.
How queer that I thought of him just as, for some reason, I just thought a 25-year-old in 1980. And then I was thinking of the 84 FA Cup final, but that would have made him 29. And I thought, I don't think he was that old, so I discounted him and went for Brooking instead.
See, I remember him in that cup final with his diving header, and I do remember him being kind of latter years. Obviously, when you're that much younger, 29 seems quite old, doesn't it? When you're whatever I was then, 12, 13, kind of. But well done. Congratulations.
More importantly, what happens now?
4 points each. So no one gains the point. So you're still 3-2. You still lead by 3-2, Dan. You're still leading.
I think we should put that to the poll. Who got the better answer? Andy. Because he's back. He's back in the room.
All right, well done. Shame you didn't say that for your first one.
I know.
If I'd have given the place of birth, you would definitely have got it in that case because
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
it would have ruled out Brooking, wouldn't it?
It would have, yeah.
It would have ruled out your Brooking.
I suppose so,
yeah. Well played.
So what do we do with these? Do we need to start making them harder, or because we seem to be getting them? Didn't we get them on 4 points last time? Well, apart from James Vaughan.
Did we get them on 4 points?
No, I got 4 points.
To be fair, it's a bit of a lucky guess though, and I think Ray Parler was a bit of a lucky educated. I would have thought Parler was older than 40, 48, 49. I thought he was 50s, but.
Or maybe we should do ex-Pompey players, ex-Pompey Premier League players, and make them really stupidly hard to start off with, and then this player once scored, or this player scored 12 goals for Pompey.
Once scored.
Yeah.
Yeah. Based on my Dario Silva knowledge from last week, I don't think I'd do too well at that.
Did you look him up?
There's a lot of players who came and go during that period, and barely played, wasn't there? So, particularly during those early Premier League seasons where we were getting kind of journeymen all over the place just to make up numbers in the squad. But yeah, we can give it a go. We'll give that a go. Or how about we say ex-Pompey players 1995 onwards. So not necessarily Prem. But then you've also got that period, haven't you, on the downward slope, where again we just churned players out, didn't we? Churned them. Pretty much a new squad every season, which is still happening pretty much to the day. So that could be quite tricky, couldn't it?
Yeah.
All right, let's do that. We're almost out of time. Yeah, I know. 68 minutes, still losing to Oxford. Isn't that good, is it? It's not good. I can see, bearing in mind there's a lot of Cowley out on the Twitter after a victory at the weekend. I can't see this kind of smothering those flames.
Yeah, I saw a few people moaning that we didn't score enough goals to beat Fleetwood by and get the 3 points. They weren't happy with the 1-0 victory. We should be beating... Oh, sorry, not Fleetwood, Forest Green. We should be beating Forest Green by more than 1-0.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, their keeper made one blinding save, one a very, very good save at that level, and one good save, I would say. So I'd say on another day it could quite comfortably have been 3-0. And they never really. I can't remember our keeper making a single save. So they had a couple of decent chances, but anyway, I thought it was a much better performance. It wasn't great. It was a bit dull. It was a bit boring, but did the job, and I particularly liked Mingy in midfield. But clearly that midfield is not working today. Anyway, do you want to know what happened on this day or in this week in the Premier League in history, Dan?
Yes, I reckon you're going to tell me that Rooney and someone Van Nistelrooy stopped the Arsenal unbeaten run. Are you going to tell me that?
I wasn't going to, but did that happen this week? Okay. Did that happen this week?
Well, I read about it the other day, yesterday or today.
Okay. Well, I'm going to start with a Pompey one. I'm going to start with two second half goals from David Underwood and Yakubu, and Portsmouth a famous win over Manchester United on this day in 2004. So that's where I was starting. I was then going from there because if I'm honest with you, I'm rushing this a little bit because I only thought about this halfway through the podcast. I hadn't written anything down. So again, good planning. But in 2008, on the 29th of October, Arsenal and Spurs had that wonderful 4-4 draw, which I think is the game where David Bentley just walloped it from about 40 yards and somehow it went in.
Yeah.
And what was the one you said? So Rooney and who? Van Nistelrooy.
Rooney and Van Nistelrooy. You know when they stopped the. So Arsenal were on 49 unbeaten, weren't they? And then Rooney cheated to win a penalty at Old Trafford, dived over Sol Campbell's leg, outstretched leg, got the penalty,
Right.
and then they went on to 2-0. And then wasn't that
Pizzagate.
Whatever it was called.
Pizza parlor.
They all went to Pizza Hut afterwards.
They all went together. You know, that doesn't actually come up on any of these on these highlights that I've just gone through. There's a couple of Man United ones. They beat Barnsley 7-0 in 1997 this week. There was also an unbeaten record for I think it was Liverpool beat Chelsea's 86 game home unbeaten record. Other than that, doesn't sound anything better. Maybe.
Whoa. I was trying to find it out then, and then it opened up a video.
Still, so 71 minutes, still 1-0. That concludes another exciting episode of Eat My Goal.
For nobody.
For nobody at all. If you're watching, just drop us a tweet or something like that. Just, let us know you're watching. Finley.
And if you have watched this one, this is your first one, we do actually normally write down things like scores and league table positions.
Do you feel we've been a bit underprepared this week?
Knowledge. Hey?
Do you think we've been a bit underprepared this week?
Possibly, yeah. I think it's because we're talking about teams like Fulham and Newcastle, and your interest goes a bit, doesn't it?
You start looking out, being, I do a bit of research now, and just dreary. Yeah. I'll tell you what we will do next week, though. We will have a little review of our predictions from the beginning of the season. Do you remember what you predicted for Champions League and also for going down? You do? Yeah. Well, we'll review those and see how those teams are getting on so far. You're pretty much bang on with Bournemouth because they are kind of in between where you said, you said they're going to get Champions League and get relegated.
And, yeah.
So they're well placed for both, I think, at the moment.
Yeah.
Which is good. And then also next week we are going to start our new team, aren't we? Oh, go on.
Have we got time to talk about Southampton taking points off Arsenal or not? Not this time.
Oh, you can do. Go on.
No. Carry on.
Do it next time.
Yeah, do it next time, mate. Carry on.
It'll be yesterday's news next time, though.
Oh, okay. We'll have to leave it then. Carry on as you were.
Nah. That was another on this week though. Southampton did beat Manchester United 6-3 in this week. Back in whatever year that was. The grey shirts, yeah. I did see that come up. I wasn't going to mention it until you mentioned Southampton, so now I've mentioned it. What a fool.
And who's got a hat-trick in that game?
I don't know, Letitia. Probably.
No. Ostenstadt or something. Egger Ostenstadt. Berkovic, did he get one? The Scammers. Anyway, so you were going to say something else then before I interrupted you about the Scammers.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah. So next week we're going to start our new team. We've done our all-time Premier League Portsmouth team. Next week we're going to start this one, and it's going to be the all-time Premier League non-British Isles or Ireland players, non-British or Irish players. So me and Dan are both going to bring 2 players each for each position. We're going to start with goalkeepers next week, and we're going to select a goalkeeper from the 4 players that we bring along. That's clear, isn't it? That's clear. And then we'll move through the team as we did with the Pompey team. Right, excellent. Thanks, Dan. Again, if you want to contact us at eatmygoal22 on Twitter, eatmygoal22 at gmail.com on email, or follow us on Facebook at eatmygoal22 on Facebook. I've listened to other podcasts, and they say for the Spotify part of that you're supposed to say this is hosted by Acast. So I'm going to say that and see if that works in any way. I don't know why they say that, because it's just publicising the host. But anyway, ours is hosted by Acast. There you go. And it's available on Spotify, and it's available on YouTube.
This is hosted by a cunt. Is that what you,
and
is that what you mean?
and now, in the very final moments, I'm going to have to put the little E onto Spotify.
You said fuck earlier.
I'm sure there's
Yeah.
some profanities earlier in the pod.
Mm.
Anyway, so what have you got this week to see us out, Dan? Have you got a celebration prepared?
Nope.
Our planning is faultless this week, isn't it?
What about
So join us next week. Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one. For those listening, Dan's doing the James Madison, nearly said Morrison, James Madison dart throwing. But do it again as we leave. See you next week, everybody, when we'll have one which is much better planned. See you later.
Can't guarantee it.